This headset.
Now you got me doing it. Thanks. Okay, so let's
Yeah,
see
I don't
here.
even know why I have that stuck in my head. I think it's because my brother just unlocked Lucina and his copy of Smash Bros. 4 Wii U.
Oh, yeah, that would be pretty worthy. I don't even know what the word I'm looking for is. Okay, so, ham. Where do I even fucking start?
Unleash the ham.
The ham, it's ready. I have like 4 acronyms for ham, and I don't know what to do. Where's my acronyms list? I have like 20 different text files. This is so unoptimized. It's why I'm doing this, to help optimize it. And I'm just like, who can I talk to for like an hour? Let's bother Cold Fusion. Yeah, these are the 3 I like the most. I like the first one because it's meta. Heroic, alternate, medieval. That is literally what the game setting is. That is literally what it is. I got a Game Boy Advance for Christmas, and I don't know why. I just have a Game Boy. Okay, so more important parts of character creation. Okay. So, you have your character dude, and before you start, I think I wrote this down actually. Before you start, you should probably have an idea of your character dude, because if you don't, you're going to cry, because there are a lot of options that are not mutually exclusive. Like, you can combine parameters together, and if you don't know what you're doing before you walk in, you're going to want to click every pretty checkbox, and then you realize you have like 8 weaknesses, and you don't know why you're eating it from everything. So you should
Yeah.
probably have an idea before you walk in, just so you're not some terrible, poorly drawn MS Paint Mary Sue chimera with like 8 animal parts. It's like the Chow Garden gone wrong. Pretty much.
I still remember my one of my favorite chow that I ever had was a phoenix chow that I literally just farmed phoenixes. Like I found a phoenix in one level and I just went through the level like 20 times.
Yeah. So
And
I
then
guess the big
and then I just
ones to note are the main categories are Hume, which is extremely misleading because that's basically anything vaguely resembling a human. They're kind of like, they used to be called normal, but then I thought referring to people by the normal body type would make the other body types feel all socially awkward.
mm,
So that's why they're
yeah.
Humes. It's like, you're normal, you're not. It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's fantastically racist. So, Humes are... Actually, no, I don't even want to say well balanced, because this is ham. You can make glass cannon Humes, and you can have spirits that are Mario. I don't care. I'm not. I'm not like that. I don't care. It's like that's the kind of the main reason why character creation is handled this way. Because, like, I love other RPG systems, don't get me wrong, but I was just looking at Pathfinder classes, and it's like humans get, what was it, like +1 in everything, they get like an extra feat, like, they're designed to be rounded, and the extra feat, you might say that's overpowered, but that's still overpowered in the way you want to be overpowered, because you put the feat where you want the feat to
Yeah.
go. It's not like you play an elf and, oh, I guess I can't be a berserker because my physical attack sucks. Like, it doesn't work that way. The other races or whatever, it's like +2 defense, or +1 armor, or +3 agility. Like, they're very static bonuses that are tied to the races. And while that does make the races different as far as like flavor and everything, like, you know, these guys are frail, these guys are beefy, these guys can rob you blind, it also kind of, for better or for worse, like standardizes, maybe even like flanderizes the classes into
Mm,
specific roles. It's like Crystal
yeah.
Chronicles.
Like
Crystal Chronicles is one of my favorite games of all time, but
like
it
that's actually,
still falls into racial stereotypes. Because, like, every Selkie in the game, except for like 3, is a fantastic bastard and thief. That's all they're good for. Like, it's so like, the Lilties are all like
Yeah.
militarized little war midgets. The Ukes are all magic bird people. Like, yeah, that's their flavor text. The Ukes are magic bird people, and they have really good magic, and they're bird people, and they have a flying crystal town that you literally get to by a glowing rainbow bridge. I am not making this up. Uh, you,
So they're from Asgard.
but even still, the game has a pretty bad tendency to fall into racial stereotypes. I don't mean racial stereotypes as in like real life racial stereotypes because those are awful, but
Those are absolutely awful.
I mean like fantasy RPG racial stereotypes, and those aren't quite as awful, but they're still kind of there.
Yeah.
So instead of stat bonuses, basically I kind of approach this as, you know what, kid, you build your own race, have fun. So when you make your character, there's three things you need to pick out besides like body and, well, your gender and stats and all that. And basically you have racial racial parameters, skill parameters, and disadvantages or debuffs. And these kind of basically help you build your race. Like the racial advantages, there are in two very specific categories. Actually, three specific categories, and these categories cannot be combined like the other two. But first, you pick a body bonus, which, if you're me and you don't like other things, and you're like, I just want to be a human, then your body bonus is picked out for you, because humans have arguably what might be the most stealth OP body bonus.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not even like
Yeah.
obviously OP, it's stealth OP.
Like, it's not a mechanical advantage like the others. It's just straight up, you have an easier time building your character.
Yeah, it's like stealth OP. But the Hume bonus is basically every character when they level up, they get a number from 3 to 5. I haven't determined that yet. It's probably going to start as 3, and if I need to scale it up, I will. But it's easier to start low and go higher than start high and go lower. I've learned that the hard way. But basically, you'll start off with, you'll get 3 level dice, and these are cool. This is one of the things I had the most fun coming up with, was the level dice. Basically, it's kind of like Fire Emblem. Everybody is going to get 1 dice, or, well, they're 3. They're 12-sided dice. Let's just get it out of the way. They're 12 sides. And one of the dice is HP CP only, and the other 2 dice are the full rounded character dice. But how it works is, the sides 1 through 8 are each going to have a stat on them. Max HP, max CP, might, guard, attunement, precision, speed, and essence. Or in the case of the vital die, it's going to have 4 sides dedicated to max HP and 4 sides dedicated to max CP. The other 4 sides, numbers 9 through 12, these are determined by the character, and it's basically duplicates of the previous 8 sides. So just as an example, Roy Angryman from CSA 2, because he's easy to build, his other 4 sides would probably be max HP, might, guard. Those would be his 9 through 12. And for level up, you take your 3 level dice and you roll them, and the numbers on the dice determine what stats are raised when you level up. It's kind of like Fire Emblem. And then every character also gets a single level gem, which they can freely put into whatever stat they want. So basically they get like plus 4 points on level up, but the majority of these are randomized. Humes are OP, because they get to take one of these level dice. That's now a level gem. You can put it anywhere you want, so they have more freedom in building their character. And, you know, the level dice is meant to help build your character the way you want, because you can put a bunch of sides on the dice for increasing your might or increasing your max CP or whatever. But that could be a double-edged sword. You could not get the sides, like, you can literally dedicate a third of your dice to having better speed, but then for some bizarre reason, you keep consistently rolling everything but speed, and now you're the slowest member of the party, and you're crying. Or conversely, you could have your third of the dice set to speed, and then you keep rolling nothing but speed, and now you're terrible. So, Humes get to change a level dice into a level gem, which gives them more control over making a well-rounded character, or min-maxing, or whatever the hell they want to do. Where is my... There it is. The other bonuses are pretty straightforward, I guess. Brutes are... Brute is basically an additive quality. Like, the basic qualities are Hume, Anima, and Lament, formerly known as Spirit. I might just call them Spirits, because Lament is a fucking weird name. I don't know, Cold Fusion, what do you think? I've just been rambling.
Hmm. Oh, Spirit or Lament? That's the main question at the moment. I think, it, I almost wanted to say, why not like something like Essence, but then I realized that's a stat name.
It is a stat name. Yeah.
I sort of like Spirit because I sort of like both of them because Lament sort of gets more towards the essence of what it is.
It's literally
but
the
Spirit
word
at the same time makes
the E.
sense. Yeah, Spirit at the same time makes sense.
Yeah.
Because it's the spirit of an element.
Yeah. Laments
So
are
like you'd have
cool.
Jolene who'd be a plant spirit.
I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of Laments signing up because
Mm.
they're
I know
like,
personally I'm doing an anima.
creator bias. I like Laments the most. They're cool. Like, I'll still build Humes all day long because that's what I like playing. But just creator bias, Laments are cool.
Mm.
Shit. But basically,
I know I'm going anima when I first start.
Yeah, Anima gets probably one of the dumbest bonuses. These are all really dumb. Like, I think I took like the classic Doom approach to balancing. If everything is broken, then it's okay by comparison. But Anima gets max chain +1, and we'll see why that's broken when I finally decide to move on to battle. That's gonna be fun. Oh my god, that's gonna be fun.
What did you end up settling on for Laments, Spirits, whatever?
Laments, for now, it's just lame. They get an attack bonus when using their personal element, which that's like obvious OP. That's like straightforward OP. It's not sleeper OP.
That's sort of a double-edged sword, I guess, because you're now restricted to that one element.
Not really.
And then you come across an enemy that absorbs fire, and you're a fire elemental.
Then use ground. Don't be dumb.
Yeah, but if you build your whole deck around, I get this fire bonus, and then you come across an absorb, and you're like, well, now I have to re-equip.
Everybody just mashing the escape button. We have to leave.
Or that what? No, he just sits there for the entire combat going, well, crap, that was dumb.
Oh my god, the cockblock is real. Oh my goodness. But then the additive qualities, which is, I guess, really where things shine. Brute, Glider, Tetride. Brutes are beefy people, e.g. Russell. Gliders are people who can float, fly, glide. That's kind of in the name. E.g. I'm trying to think of an example that doesn't have wings. We have like no
Rel is
ghost.
the obvious one.
We have no ghost characters. There's like no ghosts.
We have Dr. Ghost Pants, that's about it.
He's not a ghost though. He fights ghosts.
Penny.
Penny
Penny.
Ghost Pants. Penny Ghost Pants. Done. Okay. We're scraping the bottom of the barrel here. Oh my goodness. I just want to put this up like the unadulterated full cut on YouTube. Like, you don't have to watch this because here's the summary, but if you want to hear some interesting developer commentary for an hour, have fun. It's only been 12 minutes. I'm selling myself short. But yeah, basically gliders, they fly. And their bonus is that you can choose to enter battle with float infinite. And float condition is very, very interesting because that's one of my favorite parts of this game too is the status conditions. Because I played Crystal Chronicles again for the first time in like since my childhood a couple weeks back, and I was really impressed with how they managed to make the three Fire, Blizzard, Thunder not obvious direct reskins of each other, just being different types that beat up different enemies. In that, if you hit an enemy that's vulnerable to that element, or if you cast the Ga version of the spell, then it will inflict a status condition. Fire gets burned, Blizzard gets freeze, Thunder gets stun. And they all stick out really well. Fire is just a passive debuff that stays. It doesn't actually do damage over time like you think it would. That's actually the poison condition. But while you're on fire, you passively take like an extra 20% damage against everything. Like you just take more damage while you're on fire. And that includes taking more damage from more fire. So if somebody's really mean, they can just keep casting fire on you over and over, and you're just always under a armor reduction. Blizzard freezes you in place. You can like mash the control stick to break out early, but if you get broken out by an enemy attack, you get hit by something while you're frozen, that attack that breaks you out does double damage. And then the foil to that would be the stun from Thunder, which you cannot easily break out of it like you can a freeze from Blizzard, because even with like no freeze resistance, I can just just rotate the stick around and break out in like a second and a half. But if you're stunned, you're going to be sitting there for like 2-3 seconds, and that sucks. That really sucks. There's no like damage amp like with the Blizzard freeze, but you can't break out of this early. You're just sitting there. And especially against some of the bosses like Riverbell Crab Cycle 3, he can literally cast Thundaga, Thundaga, Thundara, like that in a row. And if you get hit by Thundaga, which is really easy to do because that has the effective range of the Super Bowl, you get hit by Thundaga, you're just going to eat the combo because you cannot evade. Like, even with the long channel time behind Thundaga that Riverbell Crab has, by the time you recover from stun, you can maybe move like 2 or 3 characters to the side, and then you just get hit again. But yeah, I really liked how they made all the stats stand out. So very, very early on, I was like, I don't want a burn effect or a freeze, because those are elemental, those are tied to elements, fire and ice. So one of the very earliest things that was there was the idea of element flare. I think I changed the name of the actual status effect like 5 or 6 times. I think now it's called color burn, because that just sounds cool, and it's shorter to write out than element flares. But basically, it's like poison for everybody, or burn for everybody. Like, you can get, like, yellow flares, you can just take damage from lightning over and over, there's wind flares, like, it's
so, like, if you got, like, frostbite or something.
Yeah.
And it, like, burned at you.
It's elemental residual damage. I don't know, it's kind of like Sand Tomb from Pokemon, I guess. Like, fucking sand element burn. It exists. Here you go. But yeah, color flares, that's a cool one. But all of the status conditions are element neutral. But one of the main status conditions that's going to be recurring a lot is tripping. Who likes tripping? I know Brawl likes tripping.
D&D 4th Edition likes tripping, oddly enough. There's a lot of attacks that knock people prone in that.
Oh my goodness, prone is so...
Prone is hilarious.
That ties back to the point I was at about 3 minutes ago, is that the glider bonus, Float Infinite, while you have Float, you're immune to tripping. Nothing can make you trip. And also you're immune to panel effects. That's the other... There are a lot of gimmicks in this game. Wow. I just realized how many gimmicks there are in this game. But basically, status conditions come in 2 variants. The traditional variant, where it's on top of you, and you're like, oh my god, I'm on fire, please help. And then there's the non-traditional variety with, like, buffs and debuffs and whatever. And those are placed into what's called the box. This is a concept I stole from Mega Man Battle Chip Challenge, because that's actually a pretty good way to pass the time if we're bored. But Battle Chip Challenge had the concept of the box, where certain defense-based battle chips, or guards, counters, stuff like anti-damage, rock cube, shadow, invis, all that stuff went into your character's box. And the box was like an automatic thing. It just triggered, and there was no way to counter it at all. If the box got popped, that's it. You're eating the box effect, whether it's good or bad. But you can only have one thing in the box at a time. So if you play Invis 3, and now you have Invis in your box, and now you take no damage except from Invis piercing attacks, and then at the end of your turn, you decide to set an Ella Ball to get like a counter attack, the Ella Ball replaces your Invis in the box. So now you can take damage, but then the Ella Ball absorbs half the damage you take and does a counterattack at the end of the Navi turn. Like, I really appreciated the box, and if they use that in a game where there's actually more strategy to it than just putting chips in places in a program deck, that would actually be a really cool mechanic. So then, I don't know, I guess that's what I did. I stole a box. But basically you're immune to panel effects, which is basically if somebody that's not you tries to change your box, it's not going to work. So only you can overwrite your own box. So Glide is a really, really good effect to have on yourself, or float rather. Because it's specifically floats, because you're not like flying everywhere. You can still get hit by melee attacks and things, because if you couldn't, that'd be broken. But you can fly over panels that are set on the ground underneath you, and you can like fly upward when somebody tries to trip you, because you know they can't do a leg sweep if your legs aren't touching the floor. You just kind of still dangle there. The disadvantage to float is that you get dunked. There is a dunk effect on lots and lots of attacks. It's like a meteor smash, and if you get hit by a dunk while you're under the effects of float...
Did you actually name it Dunk?
No, I did not name it Dunk. I think I just called it Gravity, because it was like the Crystal Chronicles effect of the same name. Because one of my most hated enemies in Crystal Chronicles is the Stone Gargoyles, because they will fly over all your magic and just fly everywhere while shooting wind balls at you, and they're fucking obnoxious. But if you cast Gravity on them, they just get knocked to the ground, and they can't do anything, and you can just wail on them for like 10 seconds straight before they can finally get back up again. But that's kind of the...
Sort of like the Windrake from our Final Fantasy RPG.
Oh yeah, he just took up in the air, and it's just like, nope, use tractor, just throw him on the floor. But basically,
that was a fun battle.
If you get dunked while you have float, you lose float first of all. You take extra damage. I want to do times 1.5 because times 2 is just brutal. And then also you're dazed for one turn, so you're stunned. You can't do anything. So if you see something flying and he's being a butt and dodging your stuff, throw him on the ground. So Glider is really, really good,
dunks.
but you're also weak to gravity.
Please tell me you're going to have a loadout that will allow for Tengu dunks.
Oh my god, yes, that's actually one
that
of
would
the
be
things...
hilarious. Give someone float and then dunk them.
That's one of the things I planned from the very beginning, actually, is as soon as I knew I was going to have a float gravity counterbalance, as soon as I knew that was confirmed, I'm just like, there's got to be a forced float condition. There's got to be. So I actually think I referred to them in my TXT files as launchers from the MVC3 moves of the same name. There's like a dedicated launcher button. But that's literally what it does, is it launches people into the air, and it gives them like float for like 2 turns or something. So that's gliders. Tetrides are simpler. They're just immune to tripping all the time. So you don't have to activate float to be immune to tripping, you just are. It doesn't come with the immunity to floor panels, so you can still have your things messed around and cry. but you're not weak to gravity because you're kind of on the ground. Because it'd be kind of hard to slam something that's already so firm to the ground, even more to the ground. It's kind of counterintuitive. Tetrides are basically things with weird butts. That's the best way I can describe it. They have weird butts. Either they have like multiple legs, centaurs, spiders, some third thing that has multiple legs, or they have no legs. They just have a weird butt. Like if lamias, slimes, some third thing that doesn't have
Would
legs.
mermaids count?
Mermaids are tetrides. Yeah. But yeah, if you have a weird butt, you're a tetride. You are now immune to tripping. Because, I mean, seriously, try doing a leg sweep against a mermaid. You're not going to flip her tail over. It's not going to happen. You're just going to, like, try
You
sliding
might
your
like
foot
flip her
across.
onto her back, but she can still probably move just as well in
Yeah.
that situation.
What did I cover? Humes, brutes, anima, glider, tetrad, lament. I covered all of them. Okay, cool. I can actually progress. So then the second part is, like, at the very beginning, I was like, hey, elves, they get plus magic minus strength. I thought that was stupid. This is the part where you get to be stupid yourself. You pick from specific things. Vitality, Vibrant, Soul Stream, those are all names of augments you can pick. I'm thinking of just letting you pick 2, maybe 3, that's kind of pushing it. But basically, these are raw stat boosters. You have max HP plus 4, max CP plus 3, CP recharge rate plus 1, might precision attunement guard plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. Basically, you just pick these up and you build your character. So if you want to play the traditional Scrublord Brute, like you're just some Orc King or whatever, you pick up the max HP, you pick up the raw might plus 2, you pick up the raw guard plus 2, and you're set. But if you want to be silly, a silly brute, then you... What would be stupid?
Speed.
Speed, precision, CP recharge. But yeah, you can have a lot of fun with these. But yeah, you basically...
What is the brute's bonus again?
Brute takes... Shit, I didn't cover the brute bonus. Where's brute's? Brute bonus takes 1 less physical damage from everything.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't matter what it scales off of
Oh
stat-wise.
man, brute with speed, guard, and essence. I don't take damage ever.
The fun thing about the damage formula is that, like, it's so obviously ripped off of Find Me, it's ridiculous. But it's basically the character's rank in the stat. Or if it's magic, it's like rank in the stat times 2, or like some weapons give you like plus 1 damage or plus 2 or whatever, but it's like very minor. It's basically, it just scales really hard off of your stats, all the moves in the game. But special skills are guaranteed to at least deal 1 damage. Brutes ignore that, because they have minus 1 from all physical damage, and that's applied after the damage formula, so you can take 0 damage from special skills that are physical. Yeah, brutes for life. Oh yeah, that also reminds me.
Wait.
You only get 1 body bonus, so like if you're a... What's a good example? Anima Brute, that's an easy one. That's Russell. He's a crocodile. He's a big, beefy crocodile. He can either pick up the Anima bonus, max chain plus 1, or he can pick up the Brute bonus, minus 1 physical damage. You don't get both. You don't get both. That'd be stupid. You get 1. You pick one, you like it, you love it, take it home, cuddle it, feed it some ramen. You get 1.
Feed it some ramen.
I'm having way too much fun with this. This is helping me summarize too. This is really helpful. Because my notes are just all over the place, but having to go through like character creation in a sequential order, this is helping format the post for Ham. So yeah, you build your character with your body type, and you pick 1 body bonus, and then you pick your raw stat bonuses, and then you pick everything else. The other bonuses... are just basically they're all over the place. It'd be hard to describe. There's like the obvious RPG conventions, like you get equip heavy armor. Your character can wear heavy armor. Duh. Um, Twin weapon, you can dual wield. Armstrong. Armstrong's the coolest one because if you have a two-hand weapon, you can hold it in one hand and hold a shield in the other.
Oh
Um,
boy.
so you can have the spear
No.
shield combo.
Smash. No, you know what you do? Armstrong, double weapon.
Those don't stack. It's
Wait, really?
specifically stated in Armstrong, characters can equip shields with two-hand or heavy weapons.
Oh, okay. I was gonna
It's
say.
not
I was
character
gonna say
can
you could
use
go.
shield
You could
slot,
go
it's
World of
character
Warcraft.
can equip shields. You cannot dual wield axes.
You can like double like World of Warcraft style Titan grip, double battle axe, double like great axes.
Yeah, you cannot dual wield heavy axes.
That would be funny, but I could see why.
It's like character can use shield slot while holding yeah, I made sure to specifically say shields.
We're not doing shenanigans.
But that's Armstrong's another one that I feel that's gonna be sleeper OP. Because the shield slot in itself is deceptive. Like, of course, there's the shields, and then there's the grand shields, which are just giant shields. But then there's also weird stuff. There's barriers, which are like magic shields. You don't really like hold those. It just kind of like, makes a barrier when you get hit. There's belts, because I thought the idea of Selkies using belts for protection in Crystal Chronicles was the funniest thing ever. So I ported that. There's belts that just give you mad evasion skills instead of straight defense.
Is there even flavor to that, or is it just you wear a belt and it somehow magically protects you?
Yeah, like belts give you like a tiny defense bonus because there's some metal there, but pretty much it just. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that shield slot is really important. Actually, don't just put on the shield that gives you the most defense. Because this is what I like to call Final Fantasy IV Heroes of Light, in that your loadout literally determines your weapon set, and I mean that in every sense of the word. Because like your default weapon changes how you can play your basic attack. Some default weapons you can only attack with it once. Some default weapons you can, it'll be labeled with dual strike or multi-strike. Multi-strike is like the Finder's Sword, you can just keep playing it as many spaces as you have in your turn. Dual strike, you can play it up to twice in a single turn.
Multi-strike, like a net with multi-strike claws. Play, go!
Yeah, pretty much. Dual strike,
Ding,
you can
ding,
play
ding,
it
ding.
twice. I do want to point something out. If you carry multiple of the same item in your loadout, you're allowed to play them like separate things. So if you have two, like, for example, fire spells, let's say you have 2 copies of Flambolg, and Flambolg is a dual strike spell, and normally you can only play it twice per turn, but if you actually take up 2 slots of your loadout with 2 separate copies of Flambolg, you can play it 4 times. Because it counts as you playing the first Flambolg card twice, and then playing your other Flambolg card twice. That's gonna take away a loadout slot from another move or an item or something.
And it's also going to murder your CP bar.
Pretty much. Everything is a trade-off, risk-reward. You can play however you want, but there's going to be something you sacrifice to do so. But what I was getting at was, like, just how your default attack changes at a whim with whatever weapon you're holding. Your defend action changes based what's on your shield slot.
Oh no.
So, like, shields and grand shields give you the traditional defend action that just shields partial damage, but, like, belts give you an evade, which, like, just gives you more chance of not being hit if you use your defend action.
So, like, a net would probably run a belt. Because
the
ninja
barriers, the barriers give you magic guard, which like they flat out nullify X damage for you, but after that they break and you take more damage.
Actually, that sounds like That sounds like what I'd put on a net because I had the whole thing with her having the aura barrier
Hmm.
that she picked up while she was doing stuff.
Yeah, I kind of equate those. I guess the one Magic Shield and Skyward Sword, which had like the world's shittiest shield bar, but if you perfect shielded or if it just didn't take damage for a while, it would like slowly heal itself.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's the best way I can describe barrier defend action. Because they have
Hmm.
their own health bar that's static and that's
You
attached
see,
to
the
the
way you were
barrier.
when you were first describing it, I was thinking like the Dokapon Kingdom M Guard, where it was just it would defend and it would do something hilarious if it absorbed magic.
Oh. Yeah, but no, it's basically like a barrier that can break eventually. It's like Sparrow Knights, I guess.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah,
but yeah,
you should actually have stuff that does that. Like if you successfully block an attack with it,
oh yeah, there's counters. Those are gauntlets.
oh,
Yeah, gauntlets are counters.
hmm,
Basically, if you use the defend action, you will take full damage. If it does, I think it's like if you're not killed by, if you wouldn't be killed by half of the attack, like let's say a move does 20 damage and you have 14 HP, half of the attack wouldn't kill you. So if you use the defend, you would hang on with 1 hit point.
hmm,
But basically, if half of the attack wouldn't kill you and you get killed by the full, you hang on with 1 HP and still counter. But
that sounds pretty funny.
otherwise you take full damage and then counter.
That also sounds really abusive. Oh wait, no, because then you'd be at 1 health, and as
Yeah,
long as
and
they
then
deal more than
half
two
of
damage,
yeah, if you take 2
yeah.
damage, you die.
I was gonna say because then you could just sit there at 1 health, and then I'm like, oh no, wait, it's based
You
on your current health.
yeah, if half of the attack would kill you, you die. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with the shield slot.
Mm.
I guess barriers does bring me to another thing I forgot to mention, because barriers have their own health. There's technically 3 resources in the game that you have to keep track of, but very occasionally a 4th resource will pop up. And that's with very specific character builds, and that's if you want to go down that dark path, that's up to you. HP! You need this to live. Don't run out. No, I'm serious on the don't run out part, because I specifically designed this as, I guess Pokemon-esque would be the best way to describe it, because a lot of tabletops are like about nullifying damage or not being hit at all, but I designed the system specifically around you are going to take damage. How should you best mitigate around the fact you are going to take damage? That's basically what it is.
Yeah, because you're going more for the like fantasy, like a JRPG
Yeah,
almost,
like
as opposed to most are going for semi-realistic. If you get hit with a sword, you're probably going to lose limbs.
yeah. But basically, it's about damage mitigation instead of avoiding damage. So for that reason, you know, HP and the defense stats are purposely scaled in favor of turtling. There's so much hyper offensive stuff in the game. I don't feel like I have to worry about turtling. Just like chain commands, focus bursts, fucking shield breaks, counters. There's so much offensive stuff in this game. But I still want things to be slightly skewed in favor of the turtler. And that's just because if you have to fight like random encounters, you really don't want to wipe to like a slime. That's embarrassing. But the reason I bring this up, you don't want to die, is because revival effects are few and far in between. There is no revival spell. I decided that very early on. There is no infinite revival source. All revival effects are items. They are one time. And sure, you can buy more, and it's not that hard to buy more, but they are very finite, and there will be a point where you'll be at a boss fight 5 levels under where you should be, and you know you're screwed. Like, you just know. You can try to wall out, you can hold on to your Phoenix Downs as much as you want, but there's going to be a point where it eventually you go, yeah, there's no chance, and you have to leave or play smarter because maybe you were just doing the same flowchart Ken that you've been doing for the rest of the dungeon, and flowchart Ken doesn't work on the boss. Oh my goodness. I don't know. I guess this is what OJ meant by a deep combat system, because there's a lot of love I put into this. This is the reason why I have stalled this game for months on end, because I wanted this to be just the most glorious thing I have done thus far. Like, I feel like that's really egotistical and kind of cocky to say, but
Yeah.
I want this to be the best thing I have hosted.
The one thing I'm thinking of, like as you're describing stuff, specifically the loadouts and how the loadouts determine your skills, actually reminds me of a game I played a while back called Card Hunter. I think it was. That it was, the idea was that it's a tabletop RPG that uses cards, and like all of your each equipment had a set of like cards associated.
Oh, I
with
think
it.
I think you showed that to me actually, because I remember this one
Card
part
Hunter, that's what it
where
was
like
called.
even movement were cards.
Yeah, like boots would give you additional movement cards, or an armor would give you an armor card that automatically gets played when you get attacked.
Yeah.
Or there were the attack cards. They all did different amounts of damage, and different weapons gave you different cards. Like there was one weapon that I got that had 2 copies of a card called like Heavy Blow or something that did 10 damage, but like another 2 copies of like a Weak Slap which did 2. So it was, you could either draw really well and get absolutely large,
Yeah, the old
absolutely
Gilgamesh.
massive amounts of damage and smack people to death. Or you can get really tiny amounts. You could just get Weak Slap for the rest of the game.
Yeah. Where did I put it? Oh, there it is. Alright, shit, I think I covered everything in character creation. I covered the bodies, I covered the, raw stat boosts, and then there's the miscellaneous boosts. I'm not sure how many miscellaneous boosts to give people. I'm thinking, like, 2, maybe 3, because the bulk of it is gonna be through the previous boosts. I might just make it, you get, like, 3 miscellaneous boosts, and then you're guaranteed 1 focus.
What exactly do the miscellaneous boosts entail?
Miscellaneous stuff. It's like equip grand shields, Armstrong, twin weapon, resist illness, timed status, last 1 less turn on your character. That's sleeper OP. Auto recover at the end of every battle, you restore partial health. Slip through. Against attacks that hit multiple targets, you get +1 evade. Unflinching. Unflinching's nasty. That one's just disgusting. But I want to leave it in because it's funny. Basically, if you're hit by an effect that would prevent you from attacking, like if you get hit by snare or daze, or tripping. I love tripping. That's my favorite status effect, is tripping.
You should play D&D 4th.
Basically, if you're hit
I'm not
by
even
something...
kidding. Like, all of the... Like, every class has at least 10 attacks that they get over the course of the, like, full level tree. At least 10, if not more, that induce tripping. Like, every freaking attack says knock the target prone. It's hilarious.
Yeah, basically, unflinching, if you have a status effect that would normally cause you to not be able to act in a turn, you can instead play 1 single action. It doesn't count as a focus command, so you don't get your focus boost from it. Because technically, the focus command, the flavor text for that is basically the one command, like... Imagine if your turn was like a bar, like I guess in Final Fantasy 13, how you use like the packs of attacks, and it's like cure, 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 or like attack, attack, Thundara. Like they're like little bars that show up. But imagine the focus command being one really long bar instead of like the three commands stacked next to each other.
So like casting Thundaga instead of Thunder, Thunder, Thunder.
Yeah. But focus, pretty even like Thundaga, like it's designed to be played as a focus command because it'll say solo strike, which basically means you can only play it once. But if you have the CP to fuel it, you can just combine it with different spells.
Because yeah.
I took. See, I was originally going to have stuff that you had to play focus commands, but I thought that would be killing fun. So instead, I took the Star Force approach. You can play the Giga card with other battle cards. Have fun. It's literally Mega Man Star Force. It's literally Star Force. Like, even the rules are similar. Like Star Force, it's like rule number 1, you can play cards that are up and down from each other. Rule number 2, you can play cards that are across from each other. Rule number 3, if two cards are the same, you can play them together, even if they're diagonal. Rule number 4, white cards break the rules.
Yeah.
Except it's not position in place, because that would be really weird in a text-based environment. So instead, it's rule number 1, you can only play a specific attack once unless it says dual strike or multi-strike, in which case you can play it either twice or as many times as you can fit. And that's determined by your max chain. Remember our friend the Anima? Max chain +1? Yeah. Max chain starts at 3 at the beginning of the game, or 2 if you pick the corresponding debuff. Have fun with that. But basically, Anima can get max chain +1, so they can start the game by playing Finder's Sword 4 times in a row. And that's hilarious. But basically, yeah, rule number 1, you can play most cards once, you can play dual strikes twice, you can play multi-strikes as many as you can fit. Rule number 2, you can combine different moves together to fill your max chain, as long as the moves are the same typing. So each thing is categorized into alpha cards, beta cards, and gamma cards. And so, like, you can play alpha alpha together, but you cannot play alpha beta together. Rule number 3, white cards break the rules. But yeah, pretty much most white cards are like weapons, because that's your default attack. There is the occasional white skill card, but pretty much you're going to be matching elements together.
But yeah, so you couldn't use like uppercut block in the same turn. Because
yeah, because the uppercut would be alpha, and then if you have a traditional block, it'd be beta. Like most defends are beta. I think dodge is gamma and counter is alpha, but even still, that doesn't matter because the defense action takes up the whole turn. Like, the only thing that matters is if you have like a force booster, which like gives you bonuses if you use a certain type of force, or if you're under the effects of fear, which prevents you from using alpha actions. In which case, if you picked up the gauntlets, you can no longer defend.
that's awkward.
Like, I'm just thinking about it, like, the guy who picks gauntlets and loads up with alpha commands, they might be at the point where they can literally have to pass their turn. Because they can't do anything. I'm just thinking about it.
Yeah.
Damn.
I feel I'm like questioning, would there be a way you could do a status condition that prevents you from using betas or gammas?
Maybe. I like alphas the most because it makes the most sense in context. Because, like, Fear and Berserk are foils to each other. Fear prevents you from using alpha commands. Berserk only lets you use alpha commands. I'm not sure. I don't know, maybe a taunt would prevent beta, because you can't shield, you have to just hit things, or mess around with things, in the case of gamma. I'm not sure. Yeah, like a gamma nullifying, I'm not even sure how that would even begin to make sense. I have no clue how that would even work. Because, like, the silence counterpart is, lock, which just basically means it locks your loadout, so you can only use items and, things in your defaults, which are weapon and shield. But yeah, lock is funny. One of my favorite things was the uninstall chip from Mega Man Battle Network 3. I think that deserves honorable mention.
Oh dear.
Oh my god. Basically, this was like a PvP only thing, but if you hit somebody with uninstall, like it was applied like attack plus 10, like you could attach it to other attacks.
Oh no.
But if you hit somebody with uninstall, like for 3 whole turns, their entire Navicust was nullified.
Oh my god, that's awful.
So I thought, you know what would be funny for Ham?
Oh no.
So yeah, beware the dreaded dequip status effect.
What is that? Locks your defaults?
Yes.
That's evil.
I feel the need to bring up the part where, your weapon and your shield passively boost raw stats when you hold them. So, remember that, like, +6 to guard you got with that Grand Shield? That's gone.
Oh no. Oh
Beware the dreaded dequip status effect.
no. Oh. Oh, you had a belt that gave you plus 50% evasion?
50% would be broken. That's not even legal. That's
I know.
not.
I know. I'd be like, I'm just like trying to think of like a big stat. Like, yeah, you know how you were dodging everything? Dequip, you can no longer dodge. Ah!
There's a lot, like, I think there's only, like, all of 6 status effects in the game, but they're all nasty. Well, no, 6 core stats, because, like, Fear and Berserk, I consider those, like, mental status, I guess. And those are usually, like, really short-lived. But, like, the 6 core status effects, those are nasty, okay? There's Color Burn, which is the passive HP loss. There's Lock, which prevents specials. There's Dequip, which prevents and removes the bonuses of the default slots. There's Tripping. Can't forget Tripping. Gotta love Tripping.
Tripping. You're on your butt. You can't do anything.
Yeah, there's Tripping and Gravity. There's CP Drain, which does exactly what it says on the tin. Which is really, really mean, because everything in the game requires CP to function. Actually, I think I called the CP Drain effect Strained, because the flavor text was, you get really tired. Mm-hmm. So, like, every time you do an action, it just takes more.
Oh boy. I'm trying to think, like, what are some of the other core, like, status effects in a lot of things.
Hello, I'm back. I don't know.
Do you have a sleep condition?
No, I don't. I forgot sleep. Is sleep even necessary? There's so many other things that just stop you from doing stuff. Sleep is just overkill. But like Color Burn,
I always imagine sleep being like how you mentioned freeze from the Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles.
Oh yeah,
that
like
it
just
like stuns you, but then someone could just kind of like kick you,
and then you
and
wake up. Every move in the game is now wake up slap. Oh god. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, also thanks to OJ and the Late Night Duel server last night, improvised actions, because that would actually make sleep a viable condition now. Because you could just say improvised, like, slap this guy awake or whatever, And because that's not your default attack, that's an improvised move, it'll not scale off of what may be a disgustingly high amount of might. So it'll do like 1 damage and wake him up. Um, and then, like most improvised actions, basically I use the rule for improvised spells in Final Fantasy Tabletop, where basically if you have like thunder, you're allowed to cast like mini thunder for like 2 MP. Like we don't care. Like
Yeah,
it's not going to do damage or anything,
as
but you
long
can
as
do
it does
other things
the way
with
it
your
works
thunder spell.
the way it works in Final Fantasy RPG. As long as it doesn't mimic any other spell, you can do whatever the heck you want.
Yeah.
As long as you run it by the GM first.
Special moves are going to be fun because like another advantage to doing it on a forum is that you can do the CSA2 strats of customized movesets. And this is where I take a page from Smash Brothers, because every character in the game is going to have 3 variations of every move they get. But like your core moveset could actually be like pretty small. Like I think
Needs more airborne assault.
a sample moveset I drafted up for Molly was like one of her moves, like half her moveset revolved around like a paintbrush she has. And her gimmick was that she could use different inks and paints to change the color of paint on the brush, and that would give it a different elemental effect, kind of like the spell fencers in Final Fantasy. How you can just like charm your sword with arrow, and then you do wind damage. But then she could do like all like different things with the paint, like what is like Heavy Lobster in Kirby Superstar. You just like shoot paint bubbles everywhere. Or you could do like the Shadow Mario. You could just do like a giant paint slab that just covers things. But like her moves would revolve around the paintbrush. And that's where like the variants come in, because like the paint slash, you can have like you have like the paint slash, and then you have ink slash, which is like the heavier version of it, where it might be you can only play it once per turn. You have to fill up other cards to fill up your chain, but it does more damage, or it has a chance of inflicting color burn. Like there's some other thing to go with it. Or there might be the light variant, which is like thin stroke. Because it's an art joke, get it? I'm terrible. But that would be the spam version. It's weaker, but it costs like no CP. You can just spam it.
Yeah, I think that moveset would be really interesting if like all the ink cards were like blank or like null cards.
Yeah.
And then it's like, but it's like it lasts until the end of the round.
Oh, so you have to play one each turn.
So dip your brush in ink, slap things in the face. Dip your brush in ink, slap things in the face.
Yeah.
And you just kind of do that for the rest of the fight.
Yeah.
I
guess that ties into the resources thing, because Molly would probably have to use weird 4th resource. But basically you have like HP, which is, you know, duh. CP. Everybody in the game starts with 10 CP max. They can increase it or decrease it through buffs and nerfs and whatever they pick up through character creation. But basically 10 is the beginning of the game value. Everything at the start of the game is specifically balanced around the fact you have 10 max CP. Like, all the default weapons all have like a CP cost of 1. Like, it's specifically balanced around 10 CP. And then at the end of each turn, you regain 1, 2, 3 CP, depending on, again, the boosts you pick up and whatever. And then there's certain weapons or shields you can put on that increases your CP rate even further. But it's specifically designed that characters, even like endgame, you're not going to have a lot of MP compared to pretty much every other game in existence. Yeah. But your MP constantly regenerates. Like, it's designed so that the mage can't sit there with his like 583 magic and consistently spam nukes and then drink a potion and he's all better and he can keep spamming nukes. Because that's lame and doesn't involve very much thought.
Mega Man Prototype is what this is sounding like to me. Start with 10 energy, deplete it with special attacks, let it raise up, continue doing so.
Yeah, except like your max CP can like change based on
Yeah,
things. It's not
as
just
opposed to
like
always being 10
yeah, and
forever.
yeah, always being 10 and always getting I believe it's like 2 at the end of every turn.
Mm.
Yeah, Mega Man Prototype. That game is a lot of fun. I recommend you check that out. I'll put a link in the description maybe. Uh But yeah, and then the third resource is because I got jealous of Freeman and because going ham makes people feel good. And the name of the game is Ham, so I felt kind of obligated to do so. Your third resource is hype.
Get hype!
Basically, this is kind of like the slot-in mechanic from Mega Man Battle Chip Challenge. I really love that game. Like, it's a shame that most of the game actions are automated, because there's a lot of really good ideas in that game. Like, I love Battle Chip Challenge to bits. But the slot-in mechanic, basically every turn in battle, your slot-in gauge, it starts at 50% at the beginning of the net battle, and every turn that passes, it goes up by 5%. There are cards that can change it, like slow gauge reduces the opponent's meter, and then quick gauge goes in your box, and for every step that passes in the turn, it goes up by another 5%. And then there's just full cust, which just fills it up, but it's like super glassy. It's got like 20 HP, I think. Like a mini bomb could just delete it. But basically, by pressing L or R, there were these 2 slot-in chips that you put in your program deck that cannot be targeted by any other chip, except for the very specific Jealousy. And I hate Mary and I hate Ring EXE because of Jealousy. I do not like that chip. It makes me cry. But basically, Jealousy deletes your slot-ins. It does like 10 damage, but it deletes your slot-ins, and it's mean. But other than that, slot-ins are immune to everything. Even like passive effects, like Lava Field. So, obviously you put in like your glassy chips there that you can pull out in a pinch. The immediate trade-off being that, because they're not in your main program deck, you can't use these chips more than once. It's one and done. But when you press L or R, you go to use your slot-in chip, and the percentage of the custom gauge that's full is the percentage of success you have in using the slot-in.
So if you wanted, you could just say, I'm going to throw this down right now, 50-50 shot.
Yeah, like that is Dex's #1 strategy. He will just go balls to the walls with Gutsman. He like consistently plays his slot-ins at 60%. Like he's just like, fuck it, let's go. Take a chance, YOLO. But yeah, like some like Lan will tend to play his around like 75-80%. Chad won't touch his until it gets to 100%. But basically that's the chance of the move working. And hype is kind of a similar thing. You start off at like 3, maybe 4 hype, and the max you can get is 20. This very obviously ties into the 20-sided dice I roll when you declare you want to go ham.
Is that actually what the action is called? It
yes,
has to be.
It's called going ham. It stands for hyper ability mode.
Yes! You can actually just say, I'm going ham!
Yeah! You're...
Punch someone in the face. Oh, man.
That is literally what it's called. And
so it starts at roughly 15% in this case.
Yeah. It's super low.
And then it goes up by 5 whenever.
Yeah, unlike CP, hype does not go up automatically at the end of each turn. And also unlike CP, hype resets after every battle. It's basically meant as a revenge mechanic. Like, if you hit opponents with certain attacks, or whenever you take damage, your hype goes up. But if somebody dies, then you lose hype. Like, it's specifically, like, it's supposed to emulate, like, actually how hyped you would feel in a battle.
Like, the adrenaline rush.
Yeah.
I feel like if someone dies, then everyone's hype should go up. Because, like, just like panic mode.
Oh, I don't know. Like, I was thinking, like...
Or maybe there could be, like, an advantage and a disadvantage that relate to that.
Yeah, maybe. Oh, yeah, like maybe you're
like Battle Frenzy
what,
or
what is it? It's like a specific phrase. It's like combat something or other. Like you get freaked out.
yeah, Combat Paralysis.
Yeah, maybe. And you just lose hype when somebody dies. But one thing is that common enemies dropping will probably not give you hype. But enemies during boss battles, or I specifically planned around this one too. When a boss changes state, that gives you hype. Like I,
So like
I count it
so,
as like multi-stage bosses. I count them as having overlapping health bars, and
so
when
like
you,
whenever a full health bar depletes, you get a hype boost because oh
it's like,
let's
oh,
go.
it's time. Oh, or there's a couple other miscellaneous bonuses that are in there just to be funny. Like
Actually,
if you take heavy damage and barely survive, you get plenty of hype.
like if an attack knocks you down to 1 HP, hype.
Yeah, because that's the clutch. The clutch or kick, clutch or
um,
kick.
what are some other things you could do with that? Um, whenever an attack, no, whenever the boss charges an attack,
Oh God.
whenever the first time a certain attack, the first time a certain skill is used in battle, or something like that.
Yeah, that's
So like,
yeah. Every
so
time you
like
see
when
like
the
a
boss
new
charges up Omega Cannon, and you're like, ah!
oh shit. Yeah, maybe introduced to a new Giga card or something.
Yeah,
Whenever you see a new Giga card, hype goes up.
something like that.
But
Yeah, that would be interesting.
basically, hype, that's another thing. That's actually going to be dictated by your loadout as well. Because I don't want that to be locked in at character creation, I want you to be able to have some freedom in changing out your hyper burst or whatever. I called it hyperdrive, but there's like the traditional hyperdrives where it's like you get a massive boost to attack, you get a massive boost to defense, you heal a bunch. But then there's the not so traditional ones. I think my favorite is overclock because it just says max chain times 2.
Imagine a net overclocking, which actually oddly fits with her character.
Oh my god, and then everybody just keep funneling their CP replenishing items into the one guy as he just goes ham. Oh my goodness. But yeah, that's the third resource. And then the fourth resource is Force. This was from the very beta version of Ham that was terrible for actual form games because Freeman reminded me, form games are slow. They're not going to want to deal with this. But it's very, very simplified. There's only one type of force. It's just called force. That's it. But force is the quote-unquote charge counters. So if you have like moves that need to charge up, or in the case of the barriers that have their own hit points or whatever, that would be force. It's literally for charging.
Huh. Is that like on a per card basis, or is it just...
Well, like with the barrier, it'll say like you begin battle with X force, but like it's pretty much it. They're just imagine like you're literally
I could see
placing
that being
counters
really
on
funny.
a piece. Like
I could see,
they're literally
I guess-
counters.
I could see that being like if it's just per character. I could see that being really funny because you get a barrier with really high. You start the battle with X force, and then Omega Cannon right at the start of the match.
And you just drain your shield to shoot a laser.
That could be funny.
Yeah, like
Of course,
there's a lot of
you
lot
glass
of stuff.
cannon the heck out of yourself. But
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff you can do with the system, and that's completely ignoring the possibility of improvised actions.
Mm.
But yeah, there is a ton of stuff you can do. You can like multiplayer stuff. You can use your focus boosts, use your focus attacks. You can chain together your alphas and whatnot. You can play support with a bunch of beta actions. You can attach gamma effects to other cards, or Actually, a funny one is you can play a box altering like a gamma card at the end of your turn so that it overlaps to your next turn, and then you can combine it with an alpha card.
Hmm.
There's a lot of stuff you can do. I think I covered everything. What? Am I missing anything important?
Um, you never actually talked about how battle will actually
Oh.
beyond the card system.
Yeah, okay. That's easy though, as I alluded to it so many times. Basically, everybody starts off with 6 slots in their loadout plus 2 defaults, which can only one can only be equipped by a weapon, one can only hold a shield, unless you picked one of those specific advantages I brought up about character creation, like Armstrong, twin weapon. But basically, you put on your weapon, you put on your shield, or you put on your dual-handed weapon, or 2 weapons, or what have you. And then the other 6 slots are for literally everything else. You can have, like, an arms master character that carries around, like, 5 or 6 different weapons. And then, like, the other weapons that aren't in their weapon slot, they're in their loadout. And you can just play those as if they were skill cards.
Or you could have a character who's like a martial artist and they equip like gloves or something like Seafoam. Equip gloves in the weapon slots and then have a bunch of different alpha skills and like gamma skills and like juking and dodging.
Or if
punching
you
people.
want to be one of my favorite and totally not broken at all classes of all time, the chemist from 4 Warriors of Light, who can just play the same item card infinite times. Oh my god, I love the chemist. He's so good. He's called Salve Maker in the international version, but he's so good. He can just use this one ability, what is it? Pharmacology. He can just use that, and he can just use, like, everything. He can use his item. Like, the item he uses will... Like, it'll just stay there as long as pharmacology effect is up. Like, you can just keep using the same item.
I
busted.
noticed a lot of like really interesting and weird cards when I was looking up four Heroes of Light stuff.
Yeah.
Like what was it? The White Mage ability.
Oh, Health Giver. That's a
Health
fun
Giver,
one.
that's what it was. That
Like,
it's
basically
like, I can
charms...
cure one target? No, I cure everybody.
Yeah, you get split healing, and it's still at full power for the split.
Because, screw you.
So, like, level 1 cure is actually, like, the best healing spell in the game until, like, 2/3 of the way through the game, because White Mage scales so hard off of, I think they call it Spirit in that game. The White Mage stat. It scales so hard. But, like, Health Giver Cure is just the bread and butter of the White Mage. But yeah, I originally was going to do something like that, where in addition to, like, the bonuses and defects you pick up on character creation, there were going to be ability waves. That's what I called them. They were allusions to, like, classic Final Fantasy job classes. And they all did, like, things that obviously tied into your moves instead of the character itself. So, like, I remember there being one that you got a +3 spec rate. Spec rate is the special rate, which is for secondary effects of moves. So if you did a lot of status effects, this would be the ability wave you wanted to pick up. Or there was the aforementioned Chemist ability wave, where if item cards, you can only hold 1 in each loadout slot, as opposed to, like, stacking 3 or 5 in one slot. But you can cast that item multiple times in the same battle. It will not run out until the battle ends, and then it breaks. And I still want to do that. I'm not sure if it's going to be ability waves, or if it's just going to be part of, like, one character's loadout, but I want to have multicast items, because that's funny.
Yeah.
Just have because, like, nobody appreciates items in RPGs, because they're like, I save it until I need it, and then they never need it. And it's like, who uses the potions? Because everybody just hugs on the guy that knows Cura. I want an item master character. That's gonna happen. But yeah, there's the ability waves are probably gonna be a lot of fun. I think that's it. Wait, no, it's not. I keep going around battle. What is wrong with me? I am terrible. So yeah, basically loadouts. You put special moves in there. You put weapons in, spare weapons. You can put items in there. You put whatever. This, unlike 4 Heroes of Light, this kind of frustrated me about 4 Heroes of Light. You only got 15 slots in your inventory per character. And yes, I do mean per character, because each character had a separate inventory. Everything else you carried in the game, you had to put into storage, or else when you got a monster drop, you wouldn't be able to pick it up, because you were holding too many items. But yeah, there is a limit on how much stuff you can carry, and in 4 Heroes of Light, the moves you got were from the job classes, the crowns you equipped, and every other move you got in your set was from tomes, and tomes took up spaces in your inventory. So you would like slide tomes around between characters, and then you would activate the tomes, and that would fill up your slots of action commands in the bottom. But with this, I think that's stupid. That's really stupid. So basically, the inventory is going to be one big happy family.
CSA 2 style.
Pretty much. There's going to be character-specific sections for the special moves that nobody else can equip. But for the most part, it's going to be a shared inventory. And if you equip something to your loadout, it's going to remove it from the inventory and add it to your loadout. And that's exactly how it's going to work. The caveat to this is you better equip some item cards, because the only thing you can access during battle is what's ever in your character's loadout. That's it. So have a well-rounded loadout. Or don't. I'm not your dad.
Thanks, Dad.
I'm actually thinking of like a merchant ability wave that just says you can access weapons and items in other people's loadouts. So like one guy would just fill up his bag with as many freaking like potions and tonics, well-cooked steaks. He'd just fill up his bag, and then everybody else would just reach over, hey, can I have this? Thanks. And then of note to that, the merchant and the chemist would actually be really shitty together. The merchant, just because the chemist is like you can use items multiple times, but then afterwards they break. But then that only applies for the chemist. So if you have a merchant chemist, then the only things you would want to be merchant sharing are things that intrinsically have a ×1 per slot lock, like Phoenix Downs. Because everything else, somebody else would just reach over to your bag, use it, and now you can't copy it anymore. And that would be really bad for you.
Real talk, copying Phoenix Downs.
I know. That's why you gotta nuke the chemist.
The chemist is great. Oh,
He's like, the chemist is going to be the revive guy, because there are no revive skills. I made that decision very early on. No free lunches, no infinite revives. You die, you're dead. Have fun. Be dead. Lie on the ground. Cry. That's pretty much... That was a very, very early... Like, even earlier than the friggin' rank system for the stats. Like, and that was, like, the first thing I came up with was the rank thing, because I wanted to do something easy to grasp. And also to simplify math, because I don't like damage formulas. But yeah, math is easy.
magic times 4 plus 1 d12.
But pretty much the way that stats work is, you know, because you're getting a lot of stats. You're getting like plus 4 or 5 points per level. That's a lot. That's like disgusting in most other tabletop systems.
Oh,
Final Fantasy
no,
RPG
Smash.
gives you literally plus 1.
Smash, I just thought of something even better.
Oh god.
D&D rogue damage formulas. 1d4 plus 3d6 plus strength times 1.5
Oh god, that's disgusting.
plus crit damage plus 2d6 poison.
That's terrible.
Rip. I
Oh
mean, it's
yeah, that's
hilarious.
another fun thing. Color burn scales off of the move that cast it, not the target's max HP,
Oh,
in a pleasant subversion of the traditional poison.
that's
Uh,
gonna be really nasty.
well, like you could have like Wailord, who has like a ton of HP, but like eats it from attacks, and they're not going to be phased at all by color burn. But then you could have like this super tanky guy with like no HP, and color burn's just going to chew through him.
Hmm.
So that's gonna be a whole lot of fun. Color burn. Um, yeah, it's. I need to recap for myself because I have been going on for 1 minute 17, no, 1 hour 17 minutes and counting seconds. Holy,
And we still haven't actually gotten to combat mechanics.
what? I could have sworn I covered those.
you you've been going over our loadouts for this entire time.
Damn, that's how deep they
You
are.
still never actually got to how the battlefield works.
Damn. Okay, that's what you mean by battle. Okay. Okay, so let's just have an example battle real quick because I'm tired and I want to go into recap mode, but I can't. um,
Yeah.
crap. Okay, so battle. Throw some characters at me. One of them is Russell.
Annette,
Okay.
I have to throw her in because why not?
Okay.
Um,
This
Penny.
Penny goes pants. Classic. Give me one more. Give me one more.
I'm gonna say Zoe Dunson.
Oh wow, yeah, that's a name I haven't heard in a while. Okay. We are
Here, have a hammer.
scraping the bottom of the barrel. Okay, and let's say
I think he was trying to dodge around Rally. Let's be honest.
they're all in a festive holiday fighting tournament against Dick Kickham. Kickball tournament.
Sounds
Okay.
great.
Alright, so we have Russell, Annette, Penny Goes Pants, and Zoe versus Dick Kickham. And next to Dick Kickham is a kickball with a crudely drawn angry face on it. Like the angry faces they use for like the boss picture in Castle Crashers, like that thing.
This is the greatest battle already.
Alright, so first thing, let's roll for turn order, guys. Alright, so Russell's fat, you're probably gonna move last. But pretty much turn order is weird. Basically, speed scales off of rank like everything else. Just real quick about the rank thing, because I can't believe I didn't mention that either. Every 4 points you have in a stat gives you 1 rank in that stat, and for 98% of the game, rank is the only thing that matters. So if you have like 9 points in guard, you're going to have rank 2 guard, 4 then 8. You know, whatever. If you have 11 points in guard, you still have rank 2 guard. But once you get that 12th point, now you have rank 3 guard. And rank 3 guard is going to make your defend actions and the occasional shield bash all scale off of things, all scale 1 point more from your guard. Like what I was bringing up with the weapons, you might have an attack that says like raw might +2, and then the level from that is ×3. That's the damage for that move. So if you have 11 might, you have rank 2 might. But when you use the skill, you get 13 might, which pushes you to might rank 3, and then that gets multiplied ×3, which is 9 damage. And that's reduced by the opponent's relevant defense level, its guard for physical, essence for spell tech, and that determines how much damage the enemy is going to take from that particular move. Speed is weird. Speed also scales off of rank like everything else in the game, and there are moves and attacks and evades and things that scale off of speed rank. But actual turn order is the only thing in the entire game that uses raw speed. So basically you take your raw speed number and you multiply that by 2, and then you add the result of a 6-sided dice, and that is the turn order. So everybody rolls for speed. Let's say Russell's got like 6 speed because he sucks. And he rolls his d8. Let me just. I think I still have roll 20
Wait,
open,
is it
actually.
a D6 or a D8?
Oh, it's a d6. I'm forgetting my own words. I am terrible. I'm looking at the thing on the TXT that says plus d6, and I said d8. I am terrible. Okay. Okay, I just rolled. I got a 5. Alright, so in Russell's case, he would have 6 times 2, which is 12, plus 5, which is 17. His priority is 17. And you would do this for everybody else, and for boss characters too. Bosses, I would just give them a set times 2 value, because I really don't feel like it. I think the original scripting for speed was speed rank times 2 plus d6. That was a little more random. In Russell's case, he would have rank 1 speed because he only has 6 and not 8 because he's a loser. And it would be 1 times 2 and then plus a d6. And in the case of 5, he would have 7 priority. Like, that's obviously a lot more variance, but at the same time, that makes your speed scale harder, because if you have Annette in the corner who has 13 speed, she has 3 times 2, which is 6, and just having that 6 pretty much instantly beat out anything that somebody with rank 0 speed is going to have. It just instantly beats it.
Mm. That's true.
So everybody rolls for turn order and whatever, and Annette goes first because she's a speedy fuck, and she has her cards that are... She has a bunch of alpha cards, she has a couple gammas, and she has her claws. Annette is an anima. She has wild force, which is max chain plus 1, so she can play 4 things this turn. She decides to spam claws. So you would literally just say, okay, my turn is I spam claws. You know, claw, 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 claw. And that's literally how battle works. It's turn-based, and you fill up your combo length with the cards you want to play. Or in the case of Annette, let's say she wasn't watching her CP before this fight, and battle begins, and she's only got like half CP. She can't spam claws, or if she does, she's going to be immediately out of CP. So she decides, I'm going to use claws twice. This doesn't fill up her max chain, and it's not a focus command, because she didn't play 1 pair of claws, because the damage output for 2 claws, Annette feels would overweigh the other benefits gained from using a focus attack. So Annette plays 2 copies of claws, and that's her whole turn. Then the battle moves over to Zoe Dunson. Zoe Dunson uses a focus command. Focus command is basically you play 1 thing, it doesn't matter what it is, and it gets a specific boost compared to whatever you picked up during character creation. And Zoe Dunson has the burst focus, which gives her attack plus 1 with focus commands. So she uses the focus, she shoots a rocket. And she normally has like rank 3 might, and the rocket scales off might because it's a fucking rocket and it explodes and it hurts. That's
because reasons, basically.
pretty much. So instead of rank 3 might plus 2, she has rank 4 might plus 2. That's actually really shitty damage code for a rocket, but bear with me here. This is an example. I'm literally making things off the top of my head right now. I am not referring to previously existing weapons when I could be. But she shoots the world's worst scaling rocket, and it does 5 damage, because the Angry Face Kickball has 1 point in guard. He has 1 guard rank. Okay, now it's the Kickball's turn, because he's faster than Dick Kickham, because Dick Kickham kicked the kickball or something, I don't know. And the kickball punts Russell in the face. He takes no damage, because the kickball punts after the damage formula. Damage formulas for enemies aren't shown to you because I'm mean and I hate you. That's not the real reason, it's just a traditional thing. But the kickball punt after calculation does 3 damage. Russell has rank 2 guard, which reduces the physical damage by 2. Actually, no, better example time. Kickball does 3 damage, right?
Yeah.
Thank you, Cold Fusion. Thank you. Kickball does 3 damage. Russell has 15 guard because he is nasty. So he has guard rank 3, which reduces physical damage by 3. It reduces the damage to 1, because you cannot reduce damage below 1. This is like a Pokemon thing. But because Russell's a brute, he has the tough skin. He reduces that damage by 1 after all calculations. So he takes 0 damage. He just took a kickball to the face and didn't even care. Okay, who have I not used it? Now it's Penny's turn, and Penny decides to set up a barrier hex, because she's a hex mage. That's one of my old class drafts for CSA 2. Only like 3 people are going to get the joke. But she sets up a barrier hex and places it inside of Annette's box because she has not been managing her resources. Her CP is low. She's just glassy. Annette is a terrible person right now.
When is she not, really?
So she puts a barrier hex in Annette's box. So basically, in the box, it's like a recurring status effect. Like, it's not quite a status effect because it doesn't get dispelled by things that remove status effects, and it's not timed. It's in the box. But if another box thing shows up, it'll replace what is currently in the box. They can't stack, like tripping and element burn. I'm using tripping for everything. I love tripping. I'm sorry. But she puts a barrier hex in Annette's box. And so now Annette has like resist defense or some crap or whatever. Now it's Dick Kick'em's turn, and Dick Kick'em declares it is time to chew ass. And he uses a roundhouse kick on the entire party. Like, he just decides it's time to chew ass. He uses the focus command. He has critical focus plus crit rate. He manages to roll the crit. Like, it's just over. You're thinking it's over, right? But Annette dodges. Annette remembered to pick up Slip Through this morning, and she gets evade +1 against multi-target attacks. So Annette manages to dodge, and everybody else takes damage from Dick Kick'em. And then Russell gets to move. It doesn't even matter what Russell's gonna do. I don't know, maybe he just, like, he eats a hamburger or something, he heals health, and then the turn resets. That's basically turn order. It's turn-based, and you play actions to fill up your chain, or not. I'm not your dad. But you fill up your chain, everything costs CP. If you don't have enough CP, you can use your defend action to regain CP faster. Or you can use an item that restores CP to you, or you can just use an item in general, because items don't cost CP unless your name's the chemist. Yeah, I love to pick on the chemist. The chemist is like my favorite guy. He is my favorite creator bias. But basically, you just play actions, and there's a turn order and things. Oh, one more thing. The dodging bit. Whenever you make a move, every attack in the game is going to have hit rate and crit rate listed on it. Or, if it's like a status move or whatever, hit rate and spec rate. Or, if it's something weird, like, I don't know, Falcon Punch, it's going to have all 3, hit rate, crit rate, spec rate. Hit rate is self-explanatory. How well you're going to hit things. This equates to me rolling a 20-sided dice behind the screen, and if the number is equal to or lower than the number displayed in hit rate, you win! Which conversely means high hit rate is very, very good. If you have an 18 hit rate, literally rolling a 19 or 20 makes the move miss, and everything else is gravy, so you have a 90% hit chance. Crit rate is the same thing. Crit rates are tiny. Like, crit rate might say, like, crit rate 2. Basically, this is all in the same dice. These are not separate dice, just to clarify. If, in the example of Dick Kick'em, he rolled a 1. So because 1 is lower than 18, he hits. And because 1 is lower than 2, he crits. Get it?
Yeah.
Alright, and then spec rate. Spec rate is the weird one, because spec rate is a separate dice. Now, you do have to hit the attack to get the spec off, so spec rate is rolled second. But basically, if you roll, in the example, hit rate 18, crit rate 2, you roll a 13. That is obviously not below 2, so it's just a normal hit. But let's say spec rate 4, color burn, and you roll a spec dice, and this is a 1. Now you inflict element burn. I don't know, make sense?
Yep.
And then for stuff that's like, some cards might not have crit rate at all, this is mostly going to be restricted to starting default weapons, because being able to pick up max chain +1, crit frenzy, pick up the hyper ability mode that gives you more crits, play 4 moves in a turn, that's stupid, that's really stupid. So default weapons probably aren't going to have crit rates on them, but pretty much everything else is going to be able to crit. And because I think that reveling in your misery is funny, crit rates are either going to do ×2, a la old Pokemon. They actually had to nerf crits because they were so mean. They nerfed crits. Crits are nerfed to ×1.5 damage in Gen 6 Pokemon, the more you know. But crits are ×2 nullify armor. So all those defense bonuses you got from your shield, those are gone when you get a crit to the face.
Brutes still have their damage reduction, though.
Yes, you can reduce 1 point of damage.
1 point of crit boosted pain.
1 point. You get 1 point off of your crit. There you go. But basically, it's either going to be ×2 armor penetration, or I can go the Fire Emblem route, no armor penetration, ×3 damage. But whatever it is, I want crits to be really nasty. Really, really nasty. I think I covered battle. Did I cover battle, Cold Fusion?
Yes. Now you have covered battle.
God! Ugh! Alright, I covered freaking battle. Alright, so let's open up a new notepad, and let's summarize this nonsense so I can finally get my post formatted. Because I have literally everything else done, I just need to type it up in a non-wishy-washy format, something that's actually kind of linear.
Yay.
Okay, so help me out with this a little bit. Character creation. Okay, the first thing is body types and the body bonuses. And then
specifically, is your body ready?
I like that.
That needs to be the name of an advantage. My body is ready.
Oh my goodness. What would that even do? I'm just trying to think of what that would do. Like at first, I
feel like it would be something. It would be something related to hype, because that just seems like it would fit.
Yeah, I don't know. At first, I thought it was like double body bonus. So like max chain +2 reduces 2 damage from physical.
Oh my god, that would be ridiculous.
You change 2 level dice.
That would be ridiculous.
Attack rank +2 with favored element. But then I thought of the immediate repercussions. Specifically, you cannot double immune to tripping.
You're double immune to tripping. It's like the combined bonus of a Tetride with float. You are double immune to tripping.
Oh my god. Tetride with float, that's gonna be funny.
It's double flying. You can't be hit by oh
Rotop fan with an air balloon.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why you would need to be triple immune to ground, but you are! Oh my goodness. But no, obviously can't have double body because Tetrides exist. And I love my Tetrides, I love my babies.
Tetrides and gliders, both of them. How are you going to double
permanent glide? I have a feeling glide would be a box effect instead of a status. I don't know, that might be kind of mean though, because if you inflict glide on somebody, that just removes what they have in their box. But then again, like the whole point of glide is that like people can't override your box. I don't know.
Mm.
Glide should just be a status. Then then it can stack with color flare. That's funny. Okay, character creation. Body type, then raw boosts, then
Then the miscellaneous
special
boost.
perks. Yeah, you get perks, and then drawbacks. Balance out your perks, or if you want more perks because you're a greedy bastard. I'm gonna put ability waves with a question mark. That's not gonna be in the initial post because I haven't finished all of those, but like after signups are done and I pick out who's gonna be in it, I might just put a list of ability waves because that's actually a really fun concept and I kinda wanna use it. Ability waves. Oh yeah, starting equipment. I almost forgot about that. That would be bad. That's just gonna be like, it's gonna be like Spiral Knights. Like, it's not gonna matter, but you get to pick it. That's a lie, it is gonna matter, but it's gonna be like very basic stuff. Like Spiral Knights, you got the different cosmetics for your armor and your helmet and whatever. And there's like only like 5 choices in each one, but they give you lots of pretty colors and accessories you can put on it. Ooh, right?
Yeah.
Imagine that, but more practical. So basically you can choose from, like, they're not going to be like a sword, because there's going to be people who want, like, whips or spears or brass knuckles or what have you. But they're basically going to be sorted into light, medium, heavy, two-handed starter weapons. And then that's going to be flavored to fit the character. And then there's going to be one of each shield variety to pick from. You can pick from, like, and then there's going to be different armors you can pick up. If you picked up a heavier magic armor, then you can get the armor that corresponds to the perk you picked up. Because if you couldn't do that from the beginning, that would be a waste of a perk, and that would not make people happy. Okay, ability wave, starting equipment. Is there anything else? I think that's it for character. As far as statistics are concerned, like, obviously there's going to be, like, name, gender, what they can do, just so I can make you a character. But as far as, like, actual things required by the player, like a character sheet, body type, raw boosts, perks, drawbacks, starting equipment, maybe ability waves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it, as far as I know.
Okay, and then, should I explain loadouts before or after battles? Because loadouts and battles are just tied together.
Probably before.
Okay, loadout.
Just because you need to prepare the loadout before you go into battle.
Okay, so, loadout rules. This is just going to cover the 2 default slots and then the free slots. And then, card types. It's like alpha, beta, gamma. White cards break all the rules. Oh, touch on dual strike and multi-strike. Actually, no. Before that, cover max chain, then dual strike and multi-strike, because that ties in. Actually, wait, I want to do loadout rules, then max chain, then card types, because that's why card types matter, is for multiplaying. Loadout rules, max chain, card types, dual strike, and multi-strike. Is there anything I'm forgetting with loadouts?
You might want to touch on default slots briefly.
Yeah, that'll probably be in loadout rules, just what you can put in a loadout. I don't know, I think that's it. Loadout rules, max chain, card types, multi-strike.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Are there any... I'm thinking you might want to cover just like a brief summary of card stats and card abilities in the section alongside dual strike, multi-strike.
Shit, yeah.
Just like have like, here's what each of the numbers mean, and like here are all the keywords you might find.
Yeah, hits, crits, and spec rate. and then dual strike and multi-strike, and then just touch on item cards, because they're weird. They're one-time use. Item cards are bizarre. You can stack multiple of them in the same slot, but if you use one, it's gone. That's pretty much it. It's pretty much summarizes it. Item cards. Okay,
And then like maybe a brief summary of the combat mechanics after that.
Combat. Okay, so combat, turn order first.
Initiative / priority first. Then using attacks.
Possible commands.
Chain command, focus command.
Okay,
half command or whatever. Guard command.
Alright, so turn order. Then first is chain command, because that's what I was talking about the whole time with dual strike card types, so just tie in. Okay, then focus command. Then
Yeah. I'm trying to think like how how my different characters would like fall into all this.
Chain command.
Annette would abuse the crap out of chain commands, probably. Like you find an attack with a decent crit rate and a low CP cost and just go bleh, 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 bleh. Really high speed.
Chain command, then focus command, defense command.
Celeste would just focus command everything. She doesn't care. She sort of just she's support offense, but at the same time she doesn't really like throw out a lot of things. She just kind of like, does this work? Okay, that didn't entirely work, but it's getting us somewhere. Or that's kind of how I envision
before all the
her.
commands, mention command power, CP. That's kind of a big thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see.
What else?
Okay, so for combat section I have turn order, command power CP, chain commands, focus commands, defense commands, between turns, which just covers CP regen and then resolving status effects.
Oh my god, I just thought of one of the most evil loadouts.
And then hype and going ham.
Yeah.
That's the last section.
Yeah, I just thought of like one of the most evil loadouts. Elena playing a like fully physical deck that is pretty much all status conditions. Lightning burn, dequip, trip, lock. Just like her entire deck is status conditions.
Okay, other stuff. Leveling up. Okay, level up with level dice.
Yeah, just like with this like main rules post. The main thing you should probably focus on is making sure that people understand what all of the other choices they're gonna make do. Like, what the heck does increasing your might do? What the heck does increasing your speed do? What the heck is a hit rate? What the heck is why would I want increased chain? What does float mean? What does this mean? What does that mean? Just like essentially lay down the framework so that when people are building their characters, they know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah. And then just make a comprehensive version later, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess the main thing would be to cover literally everything in character creation, but before letting them run loose in character creation,
give them the overview.
Briefly touching up on part of the loadout section and part of the combat section. Like, the parts of loadout probably cover the concept of max chain, cover hits, crits, and spec rate, cover dual strike and multi-strike.
Yeah. You
And then with combat, cover chain commands, focus commands, defense commands. Maybe CP.
yeah
Probably CP.
yeah probably CSB because that's kind of important.
Like turn
I'd
order
briefly
between
mention stuff.
turns.
I would briefly mention stuff like the box and status conditions and stuff. Like just give like a context for resist sickness.
Yeah. Time status effect. Like I'll just probably put like example, like somebody inflicts blue color burn on you. So you take like ice damage every turn.
Yeah,
And they cast like blue color burn 4, but you only take damage for 3 turns.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm just trying to get the full overview. Level up with level dice, adjusting level dice, because like unless you're a Hume, you have like no say in your level ups.
Mm.
So I feel like you should be able to adjust the 4 free sides at certain points,
Mm.
because otherwise it's gonna suck really bad.
Oh, that could be a thing that you have the option to every level switch one of your sides,
Oh yeah,
like for your next
just
level.
one side.
Yeah.
Yeah. Level up with level dice, adjusting level dice. What other stuff would there be? I don't know. Maybe briefly touch up on field commands.
Probably.
Like that's just gonna be resolved by your stats behind the screen, but you can do stuff in the field that you didn't think you could do. Like just because I don't lay it out in front of you doesn't mean you can't do it.
Yeah.
Like
And
hey,
improvise commands.
you're in a town. Like you can say look for a shop or like talk to somebody. I don't know. I don't have to lay it out in front of you.
Yeah.
Or like you're at a bridge. You don't have to cross the bridge. Be a trap. If you go around the bridge, you could crawl under the bridge. You could cut the bridge down. I don't care. I think that's it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I think they cover pretty much everything.
Pretty much. Okay, I'm just gonna paste this in here. It's gonna be a lot.
Who do you think's gonna listen to the 2 hour developer commentary?
Nobody. Maybe Lego. He likes nerdy stuff like that. This will probably get like 4 views. I don't even care. I just recorded it because I thought it would be a good idea.
Hey, it might be interesting for someone to listen to you going, I never covered combat. Seriously, you danced around that for like a whole hour.
I did. I
Just
thought like I was
constant
thinking like
tangents.
things that influence combat, but I never covered like actual turn order.
Like, give people context for all of these numbers. That's more what the combat section should be. Like, give people context for all the numbers. You don't have to go like into the nitty gritty. It's just like your speed value determines initiative plus a d6. You can on your turn chain attacks. Use more CP, limited by max chain, etc. Focus commands. Use one command. Powers boosted. Defense command doesn't cost CP, helps you regain CP faster.
Yeah.
So yeah, stuff like that. Just like give people context for what this madness is about.
Yeah. I'm just like the one thing that makes me terrified and absolutely giddy at the same time is with all the focus on chaining moves together.
Will we have any focus characters?
No. Well, of course we're gonna have focus characters because there's moves that you can't multiplay. You have to have multiple copies of it, or maybe they just cost a lot of CP and it'd be more economical to play it once per turn, and then you also get the focus bonus from it. You
Mm.
get more hit rate for things that are dodgy, or you get
So,
higher crit rate if you want to be funny. You get higher spec rate if you feel like being a douche and setting everything on fire.
oh, you choose the you
Yeah, you
choose
choose
the,
your burst.
oh
That's during
yeah,
character creation.
oh, it's during character creation you change you
You choose
choose.
your burst, yeah.
Oh, I don't think you ever touched on that.
I'm pretty sure I did. Maybe not.
It's not listed here. That's kind of an important thing.
Yeah.
I was thinking it was like per attack. Each different attack had a different bonus.
No, 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 no. It's like a universal thing you can put on whatever.
Ah.
Flexibility! There, I did it in. Okay.
Yeah, that's probably going to be like super important for like a character like Celeste, where it's like, and focus attack. What is my bonus for this?
Yeah, like you will be intimately and intrinsically linked with whatever boost you pick. Like that's part of your playstyle. You could just go for the raw attack boost. You
I
could
just had a stupid thought.
yeah,
I know the body types have already been well established,
yeah.
but but what if there was a boost or like something? Choose choose two focus bursts. You can pick between them when focus attacking.
Oh, that'd be nasty. That'd be nasty. There's just a perk that just gives you another focus burst. Oh man. Oh man, even nastier. What if they stack?
Ooh,
Hit rate
that
and
would
crit
be
rate. Oh,
evil.
I'm keeping the overcrit, by the way. Like it's not gonna be for everything because there are gonna be the light default weapons gonna have a hit rate of 22, and it's not gonna make sense to anybody until they get to the battle section because it's like you have a 20-sided dice. This is a 22. You can't fail.
Evasion.
Yeah, evasion is rare unless you focus belts. It's like the whole system is like ideally, it's Pokemon. Every move has a hit rate that's tied to the move. Like, you can use Stone Edge if you want to. You can leave your friends behind. But if you miss the hit, you're gonna miss that hit, and then you're no friend of mine.
I was waiting for that. I was waiting for that to come around.
And then, like, Rock Slide has 100 accuracy, but it's got 15 less BP, and there's no boosted crit rate on it, because Stone Edge has 30% crits for some ungodly reason. But hey, you want to use Stone Miss, as KD calls it? Have at it.
Bright powder.
Bright Powder is essentially evasion. Like, evasion, even a quote-unquote evade tank will probably optimistically have evade plus 4.
Hmm.
Just saying. Like, that translates to a 20% evasion boost, but even still.
Yeah. I still remember. I think it was you and I that was. I played Pokemon Showdown a long time ago. And I got. I think it was you, but someone got really pissed off at me because I bright powdered a Pokemon.
Bright Powder. I think it was Chug. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it was one. It had a Skarmory, and I think it was like Ice Beam or something, and it just went nope. And they're like, "What the hell?" It was wonderful.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
It was
Okay,
so
but yeah, there
wonderful.
is one mechanic that I will mention when I get to hits, crits, and spec rate. Every 5 hit rate you've overboosted gives you +1 crit rate.
Oh boy.
Because, you know, thematically, hit rate is how well you can hit somebody. Crit rate is how well you can hit somebody where it really, really fucking stings. Or alternatively, how easy this attack makes it to really sting. So for every Like if you have
Hashtag
25.
20 crit rate.
Oh dear Christ!
You need to have like one attack that does
You
absolutely
have to
nothing but
like
has 20 crit
you
rate.
have to like coordinate the entire party. You have to like specifically go out of your way to achieve that.
No, no, Smash. What you need to do is you need to make one attack that does like 1 damage but has like a 20 crit rate.
Oh my god. What would that even accomplish though? Just armor penetration?
It's essentially like really wonky armor penetration.
That's terrible. Jeez Louise.
It would be so bad and so good at the same time. Just like absolute monstrosity of an attack.
Mm. Alright, so yeah, what do we got? Body types, raw statistics, raw boosts, pick a focus burst, perks, drawbacks, ability waves, starting equipment, loadout rules, max chains, card types, alpha, beta, gamma, the glorious white cards, hits, crits, and spec rate, dual strike, multi-strike, item cards, turn order, CP, chain command, focus, defense. Oh, I don't have it on your copy for some reason. It's on my copy. I'm looking at mine. Improvised commands.
Improvised commands. Those
Yeah.
are important.
Improvised commands.
Those are what make an RPG an RPG.
Pretty much. Between turns, hype and going ham, level dice, field commands.
Yeah, I actually love it that you called the the hyper mode that Annette would probably pick overclock because it
Well-
works thematically with her.
I called it that because of this really old RPG Maker 2003 game I played. It's like Mega Man Battle Tournament or something. I might have showed it off once. But basically it's like an ATB kind of thing with a Mega Man Battle Network setting.
Mm.
And it's literally just a bunch of one-on-ones. There's like no dungeons or anything. It's just a tournament. But you play as Mega Man, and you fight a bunch of different Navis and stuff. And the gimmick is that everything in the game, like even your default attacks, is determined by your equipment. Like you equip different, you equip a Buster, or a Buster type or whatever, and then you can equip 3 battle chips, is what they're called in the game. And they're different categories because RPG Maker 2003 does not support letting things go into other things' equipment slots.
Which is obnoxious.
But you get a weak, medium, strong battle chips that you equip, and then you put on an armor, like an elemental armor, or there's other stuff. There's like anti-freeze armor. There's like a health regen armor. There's a overclock armor, and that's where overclock ham came from. Is the overclock status condition? It heavily reduced your defensive stats, but your speed is doubled. And this is an active time battle system, so you can just
just go
like
absolutely
3 or 4
nuts.
commands off before the other guy can move.
You just go absolutely bonkers.
Yeah, it pretty much made you into like TAS hub style.
Yeah,
That is the best description I can give it. Like, it makes your other stats, like, your defense is crap, but you can just wail on a dude. And that's literally where the overclock ham came from, because I thought it was funny, and this uses a chain system, so max chain times 2. And I specifically go out of the way to make it not a plus bonus, because in the rules it states that your chain cannot exceed 5. Like, it starts from 2 to 4, but you can equip different things that increase your chain size. But it specifically says your max chain can't go over 5. But then there's the overclock ham, and now you can play 10 moves!
Jeez.
Why would you need 10 moves?
No, here's what you do. Claw, 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 claw. And it just goes. You just hear like unintelligible gibberish coming
It's-
from it. She just flails
It's
about.
Saxton Hale Tengu Blade. Instead of going through somebody, you just kind of like grind against them. Just eat their health bar. Oh my god. Hi.
Oh, no.
But we covered everything, right?
Hmm?
We covered everything?
Pretty much.
Alright.
I can't think of anything.
Cool. So I would just like to thank you for listening to my nonsense and for helping fuel it with some of your own.
Yeah.
And for keeping me on track because I did not cover combat for an hour.
You managed to dodge combat for an hour after I brought it up. Still not sure how that was possible, but okay. Considering that's pretty much the entirety of the mechanics.
Yeah, it's like, this is designed. This is like heavy combat oriented. Like, I wanted, even if there's not like a deep story or whatever, so it's not like a pure roleplay or whatever, like, I wanted game mechanics in my RP, but then what OJ said, like, struck a nerve, so I'm just like, you know what? I'm going with the ham system. Like, I'm gonna stop messing with it. It's not too complex. It's just complex enough. We need something complex on Cut Stuff. There you go. Complex.
Meanwhile, I'm
complex
just sitting here
brutal
going,
doom.
fate dice, fate dice, fate dice.
I know. Ugh. But yeah, pretty much.
I mean, I kind of understand what Corey
So
was saying.
wherever there is any sort of fall down in the RP, anywhere at all, it'll more than make up for how versatile people are gonna be. Like, I guess that's a good thing in it being a form game and being slower paced, because then people don't have to spend like 4 days stalling the RP sessions changing their loadout because they don't know what to put on, because it's a text form game and they can just take the time, and then once they're ready, that's probably when the next battle's going to show up.
Yeah. Also, I've been officially booted from Cut Stuff Adventure 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
God damn, this is going to be fun. This is going to be lots of fun. Also, this is not going to start up probably until close to the end of FTM2. I'm just going to put up the post for character creation and whatnot, so I can
Okay.
get things kind of straightened out. But yeah, FTM2 is kind of the slightly higher priority right now, simply because I'm making a map. And if I spend all my time on ham, I'm not going to finish my map, and I'm going to be sad. That's pretty much it. I've said that like 8 times. I'm just gonna, I guess I'll shut down the call and we can just migrate back, I guess.
Yeah.